Another more extreme aero looper can be found at Kings Island. This ride is called Vortex. It has 2 loops, 2 corkscrews, and a batwing. I'll point out the batwing later. Vortex was also the first roller coaster to go completely upside down 6 times. Remember that batwing I mentioned earlier? Well, here it comes, and I'm going to break it down for you step by step. It's sort of a loop corkscrew hybrid. It starts out with the first half of a corkscrew, then follows it by a loop downward, then a loop upward, and then the rest of the corkscrew out. Now we've been sitting down for a while, so let's take a break and stand up on Mantis. Mantis is the world's 2nd largest stand-up roller coaster. Normally you'd be sitting down on a roller coaster, but not on Mantis. You stand up through the entire ride. Mantis goes upside down 3 times. Very, very large vertical loop, a dive loop, and a corkscrew. Mantis also features a 45-degree incline loop, which although it's technically not an inversion because you don't go 180 degrees upside down, it's still pretty close. Thanks to the magic of digital technology, we can actually ride Mantis. Right, here we go down its first drop and into its gigantic vertical loop. We come around with its dive loop. And into its 45-degree inclined loop. And then into its corkscrew. And then we hit the brake run. Now, let's recap what we've looked at so far. We've seen Woodies from mild to extreme. We've looked at aero loopers and stand-up coasters. But we've only scratched the surface of the steel coaster genre. Next up, suspended coasters. Top Gun at Kings Island is a great example of a suspended coaster. A suspended coaster has cars that hang below the track with an added bonus. They swing from side to side. As the train careens down its twisted layout, the trains swing back and forth, narrowly avoiding support posts. The one problem with suspended coasters is that they cannot safely do inversions, but B&M pulled through in that department with their second coaster, Batman the Ride. This new style of coaster, dubbed the inverted coaster, has open-bottom cars that remain in a fixed position. These fixed cars make it safe to go upside down. Upon first glance, they look like a chairlift on steroids. Back at Cedar Point, we have a great example of one of these coasters. Its name is Raptor. Raptor is still considered one of the top roller coasters in the world. It was also the first ride to feature a Cobra Roll. A Cobra Roll is like the opposite of the Batwing that I described earlier. It starts off with a half loop up, a half corkscrew out, a half corkscrew back up, and a half loop down. But inversions and different riding positions aren't everything. Height and airtime can make a coaster great. Back at Valley Fair, let's take a look at their flagship coaster, Wild Thing. This monster coaster is a whopping 200 feet tall and features what the park calls the world's longest low-gravity section. I've gotten about 6 seconds of continuous airtime on its second hill. The reason for this is because the second hill is in the shape of a parabola, and you thought you wouldn't learn anything useful from math. Because of its parabolic shape and the speed of the train as it passes over it, riders experience a constant feeling of falling, which equals major error. So maybe